All right, it is 12 o'clock on the dot, and we are going to get started. We are so excited. DHRM is pleased to offer today's webinar in conjunction with Governor Cox's Work-Life Balance Initiative in response to the Governor's Employee Survey. Just a few housekeeping items before we begin. This webinar will be recorded and posted on the Gateway. If you have any questions, please submit them using the Q&A function and include your email address. We most likely won't have time for questions today, but we will make sure that you receive the answer via email. A special thank you to Patrick Fitzgibbon and Carmen for their help with the technical side of the webinar. We really appreciate them. And then something super exciting, we will be having a giveaway with 5 signed cookbooks from the Food Nanny. To be eligible for the drawing, please enter in your name and email address or phone number where you would like to be contacted. This will need to be entered into the chat by 12:15 to be eligible for the drawing. There will be 5 cookbooks given away, so make sure you do that. The Q&A function is the triangle, the square, and the circle in the bottom right-hand corner. And then last but not least, we are super thrilled to have the Food Nanny Lizi and her brother join us today. Our topic for this month is family wellness, and they will be making a great recipe and sharing how spending time in the kitchen has helped their family wellness. Lizi and David, the time is now yours. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. We feel so honored to be here. On how you've been, talk about you.
Let me tell you something. The people that are in the public sector in Utah are some of the most talented people in society. We love you guys.
True.
Thank you for what you do. Thank you for the public service that you provide. You probably don't hear that enough, but I spent enough time in public service myself to know that some of the most talented, capable people in Utah are in public service. So thank you. And
very true.
It's a real honor for us to be here with you guys.
It's such an honor. I wish that we could see your faces. It always feels so funny just talking to a screen.
Yeah, it does.
But we're going to talk a little bit about our importance of family dinner time, right? We were raised with a mother. He's the oldest of 7 kids, and I'm the baby of 7. So we're 16 years apart. We love to tell the story of how he actually drove my mom to the hospital the day that I was born.
I held her.
I mean, come on, that's pretty fun. Yeah.
I was 16 years old.
And so that's kind of a fun little thing about us. But we were raised with a mother that had major, huge importance around dinner time. And that has been instilled in us our entire lives, right? We believe that dinner time is the most important thing that you can do for your family in the day. It's the most natural setting to gather around together, to talk about your day. I'm noticing that now. I mean, you have an older family, but I'm
a grandpa now.
I know.
I'm a grandpa now.
He's old.
Sitting around the table was something that was instilled in our culture, in our family.
100%.
And literally, it makes all the difference in the world because it allows each member of the family to discuss what they did today and what the problems they had and what they overcame and the triumphs and everything else. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, food, we all have to eat, right? And we all want to eat the food and we want it to be yummy. But really, as we always say, it's more important than the food. Like, it doesn't matter. Even if it does. It does. Because it has to be good. But even if it isn't, it's more important than the food. It really is sitting together, looking at each other in the eyes. And there's been a study that I want to read before I give a couple of real life examples, because this is something that's been pretty amazing that backs up what we're talking about. I'm beyond passionate about this. This is all I talk about all day, every day, is I'm trying to encourage people. My mom obviously started the Food Nanny brand over like 20 years ago, and then the brand died. I shouldn't call it that because then they're like, did she die? She didn't die. And then I brought it back 7 years ago because I noticed a need for family dinner more than ever. All the friends, I had never moved away out of the state of Utah and been on my own, really. You know, it was like I was still always with the family, eating the family dinner time. And then when I got moved out to Denver for my husband's job, it was blowing my mind how many of my friends were like, you really make bread? which we're going to make this together
And
in
that's
just
real
a
bread.
second.
That's
This
real
is
bread.
real amazing bread. They're like, you really eat the bread, you make dinner, you make cookies, you do all of this. And I'm like, yes. And I was teaching them the ways that my mom had taught me. The hardest part about dinner, as we say, is deciding what to cook, right? Every day that can be a challenge
Can be, and it-
of like,
a lot of fights.
what's today,
Yeah.
you know? And the thing is that you can get in a rut constantly of eating pasta back to back, red meat back to back. But my mom created theme nights years and years and years ago, and it's just stuck. And even when we're not home cooking it and eating that, that's what we're eating out for
Even when
dinner.
we eat out,
Seriously.
we follow the nanny plan.
We follow the plan because you're getting this healthy variety of food. A lot of people believe that we don't eat the butter and the bread and all of it. Like I say, we do within portion control. And that's what we want to talk about. But I want to just put the emphasis on, did I just say that word right?
You got it.
Study.
You got it.
So years ago, this was what was so amazing. The University of Minnesota, they did a whole thing on what the potential benefits of actually doing family dinner time really even meant, and meant for the kids especially, right? And the study showed that more often children and teens that eat with their parents, they're happier, they're more structured at meal times, the more the kids gain these benefits. They have better nutrition, better language and literacy. I can't even say it, David.
Literacy.
Fewer eating disorders and fewer risky behaviors.
Mhm.
And
And aren't those all things we want for our kids and
Yes,
grandkids? I mean,
yes.
come on.
I'm telling you, it really is the power of the dinner table that saves your kids with doing that. We've had endless amazing examples. And I mean, I want to share a couple and like maybe one about mine really fast. What are we on time? I'm always worried about the time.
Because
Okay.
she can get away. Time
We could talk
gets away from us.
all day. Okay.
Never turn a microphone over this.
I want to do, okay, let me keep actually going. Because then it was actually the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse at the Columbia University. So these were two different studies that they did about family dinner time, right? And the one that did at Columbia University, they said teens who have fewer than 3 dinners per week, are you ready for this? It's going to blow your mind. 2.5 times likelier to smoke cigarettes, more than 1.5 times likelier to drink alcohol, and almost 3 times likelier to try marijuana.
Mhm.
And those are like legit facts if you have dinner time less than 3 times a week. These are all studies based on 3.
These,
3 days a week is what would you like to say?
what I'm saying is these longitudinal studies that have been conducted at the university level they confirm what we've known all along. That sitting down with your family makes a difference. It makes a difference for the kids, the parents, everybody involved. And we talked about bread. That's real bread. The dinners that we make are real and they're nutritional and they're not hard, Lizzie.
No,
That's the other part
no,
of this.
it doesn't need to be complicated. We have the best family friendly, the most amazing recipes. I was raised on these and I'm still making them today because every time I ever go and try a new recipe, it's like $100 for weird, odd ingredients.
Yep.
And the food isn't yummy. This is yummy.
It's
Look how
yummy.
passionate.
And
I
it's-
mean, I get woo. Okay.
And people
Anyway.
are good at what they're passionate about. Lizzie. That's why you're good at this.
But I wanted to give a couple examples really fast before we make these French baguettes and get into all of that. But within these studies, you wouldn't believe the personal, amazing stories that we've actually gotten about talking about family dinner time. To us, it became, like I said before, it was just second nature to me. It was like, I thought everybody did that. I thought everybody sat and had the whatever. I loved the drama every day, by the way. I couldn't wait to hear about his girlfriends or the other boyfriends, but I would dream about what was on the meal plan. And I'd be like, okay, it's pasta tonight. And I would seriously think about that all day at school until I got home and ate that yummy pasta. But there was this cute family that her son never wanted to come home after school. And I feel like that's kind of becoming a problem, right? Kids, they don't want to come home. They want to they've got their activities. I know that more than ever,
Dealing
we're
with
very
social media and
busy.
the whole thing.
Yeah, and kids are very busy now
Yeah, they
today.
are.
We're in a million different, activities, really,
Yeah.
David. It's getting crazy.
You name it.
But there was this kid that didn't want to come home because, oh, wow, we got to go fast then.
Just 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah,
like,
we're doing
wow,
great.
we're down
We're
to
doing-
10 minutes.
you're doing
Okay,
great.
sorry.
You're doing great.
Okay.
You're moving.
Anyway, so he didn't want to come home for dinner. He just wanted to hang out with his friends.
Mm-hmm.
And his mom finally realized, what am I going to do to get this kid home every night? Because we need to connect and we need to talk about the day. She's like, I have no clue what my kid is up to. He doesn't talk to me. He doesn't want to have a relationship with me. And she had kind of heard about us putting on family dinner time.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, that is something that I haven't made a priority in my life. And so I'm going to try. So she told her son, I want you to come home tonight because I'm going to have dinner on the table and we're going to eat together as a family. And she did, and he didn't show up. And she called her son. And anyway, these stories make me cry, but she got super emotional and she said, well, why didn't you come home tonight? And he said, well, I don't really believe that you have dinner on the table. He's like, you've said that a million times. And I come home and I leave my friends and we don't even have dinner. And anyway, so he actually came home to his mother crying, and there was real food that she had prepared for her son that night. And he said, okay, Mom, I'm really sorry. I'm going to come home tomorrow. He's like, will there be dinner tomorrow? And that's the thing. It's like, if you show and put in the effort and make a consistency for your kids,
That's right.
then they do want to come home. There has to be something that they want to come home to at night.
It's predictable.
Right. So the next night, the son actually showed up and they created the most incredible bond together. The son opened up. He was talking to her about the day and about what he was really up to in life. They created, before he graduated high school, this beautiful relationship with each other because they were eating together at the table. And it really, that's when I say again, it's more important than the food, right? And so I've been living this. I lived it my whole life. When I started to have my own kids and my own little family, I didn't really see the benefit of it yet until I had an experience too, where my daughter came home from school and we take a turn every night where we individually look into each other's eyes. And I'm like, so what happened about your day? Because I don't have time in the day. It's chaos. When the kids come walking in the door, I don't have time to sit there, David. I'm like, what do you want? I'm like, I'm making the bread. I'm exhausted. I have been at work all day, but it makes you relax. And my kids know that I'm going to give them each the opportunity to talk about their day. And it's something that is very, very special. And there was one experience a few years ago that my daughter had heard this crazy, weird, whatever stuff at school. And I know for a fact, she wouldn't have shared that experience with me if we wouldn't have been sitting at that dinner table together. I know it. And it was one of those big moments that it was like, if it would have been ignored, I don't know what my daughter would have been like today.
Yeah.
And that's the honest truth.
There's something very cathartic about sitting down at the table. It's an emotional release.
Yeah.
You break bread with somebody and you get to know somebody, and it's intimate. It's intimacy. And it doesn't matter what your family looks like.
No, and it doesn't. And honestly, we have a sister that divorced, and it's so important even for single parents, moms, dads.
Maybe even more critical.
And it really is. It's an important thing that you need to do in the day, because my sister knows that that's what saved their relationship after her divorce. So it's very important. Anyway, so I want to show you something that has been a part of our family for a very long time. We love easy, like we said, but still delicious. So we have been making, that's right. We have been making these French baguettes for a very long time. My mom got this recipe from actually a French woman. It's seriously an over 400-year-old recipe. Most French baguettes, they take over 24 hours. This one, it takes 30 minutes from start to finish, okay?
And that's incredible.
That's insane.
Listen, does it not, because we've spent a lot of time in France, you and I.
We love France.
And I'm here to tell you, that looks like a French baguette.
It really does.
And, the taste, texture, all of it.
It does.
That's
And
a French
I mean, it's not I will tell you this, it doesn't get as hard or as crispy because the longer the French baguette goes with 24 hours, but still, this is a very yummy recipe. And I'm going to tell you my tips and tricks. And do you know what's funny, David? We almost have more men making this than the women.
Do you know why?
I'm serious.
Do you know why? First of all, bread warms the soul, and men love that. But secondarily to that, it's simple.
It's simple.
You're going to be making this.
You're going to be making this all the time. But I do want to say that about that too, David, is the smells coming from your kitchen is the most, that's the memories that you're going to remember. Sorry, I got a timer and I feel like I got to hurry up.
You're right.
But you want the smells coming from your kitchen. Now today more than ever, we have such beautiful kitchens that aren't touched. And I can't stand it. I just want to, it's almost like when you want to rough somebody's hair up. I'm like, just let me get in there and break in that, amazing kitchen because you should be using it.
It's a shame.
Okay.
It's a shame not to use.
You will love this recipe. I'm doubling it. That's my new thing is we'll give you the recipe, right? We're giving it to them.
Of course we'll give them the recipe.
So I like to
We don't
double.
hide anything here.
Yeah, we don't hide. Okay.
We give them
I want them bigger and thicker. And what I want to tell you about French baguettes is there's no preservative in them. Okay. You're going to see that. And so when you actually go to France and you experience, they've got them everywhere. But did you know that they removed the French baguette after 2 hours of sitting on the shelf?
Yeah, they like their
2 hours
fresh over
because at that point, it's not fresh anymore. So this is best the day of. So if you're going to be making it, you want to make it that night. And like I said, it's from start to finish 30 minutes.
But let's be honest, this stuff is good even the next day.
It is, but let me tell you what you do with it the next day. He doesn't know this.
Yes,
that's the problem. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You talking French toast?
Yeah, French toast or
I know what you're talking about.
French toast. You can turn this into bruschetta. You can turn this into amazing croutons. Okay, wow. Wow, you have learned something.
Yeah.
Or you can run it under water super fast and pop it back in the oven and it will come back piping hot too. You can do that on any bread.
That's next level.
Yeah, I know. Did you know that one?
No, that's pretty rough.
I didn't know that. Also, it freezes amazing. So after it's cool, if you want to wrap it in plastic, it freezes incredible in your kitchen. Okay. So the most important thing about when you're dealing with yeast, it's your water temperature. If your water is too hot, you're going to kill it. If it's too cold, it just takes way longer. So tell them, David.
I've sold a lot of yeast in my day. You've got to be very careful with that. Let me just say one more thing about this French bread. Honestly, one of my favorite things to do with this is to make sandwiches out of it.
Oh, I
Where you
die.
Come
Yes.
on. That makes the best sandwich you've ever had.
When I'm out of bread, I hurry and whip this up in 30 minutes and you put anything in there, my kids go crazy.
It doesn't matter if it's peanut butter and jelly. It doesn't matter if it's
salami, cheese.
You name it.
Just like the French do. If you go to France, they've got French baguette sandwiches everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh, we love
Any of the
France.
salted cured meats.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he loves to say salted cured meats. Okay. So like I like to say is you want the water temp on your wrist to be, I give the tip of like a baby's bottle. You want it warm. And on the recipe, it will tell you the temperature, but don't get too critical. You just want it warm, but not too hot, okay? And already it's bubbling. Can you see that?
That's how it's supposed to look.
This is already going.
That's how it's supposed to
If your yeast doesn't start to do this, start over. It's not worth it.
Because yeast is alive.
Yeah, because your bread's not gonna turn out, okay? My favorite yeast, it's called Red Star. You can get this at Costco for nothing.
By the truckload.
It's like $5.
Yeah.
And you just double baggy it and put a tie, like after you open it, and this will last in your freezer for up to 2 years, like this. And you can pull it directly out of the freezer. It doesn't have to come to room temp, nothing. Okay, so now we're going to we added a little bit of sugar. Normally, we like to put a lid, something to trap the heat, to make this go faster.
Even if it's just a dish towel.
Right.
Anything over the top of that.
Let's not forget that I'm doubling this. So I'm putting 4 teaspoons of sugar. And let me tell you, wait, what was my tip that I was going to say, David?
Well, there's so many
It just
tips.
left.
Well, we talked about covering that up, and you really haven't done that here, but
I was going to talk about your warm kitchen. Your kitchen needs to be at least 72 degrees. If you've got that AC blaring, bread's not going to be happy. It's not going to be happy in that kitchen.
Lizi, tell them this also. It depends on the environmental conditions with bread, right? Every single day it's different.
Every day.
It's going to be a little different.
You need
to
to.
what the weather's doing, depending on what altitude. If you're in Penguin,
10 left.
you're in
Okay.
St.
But really the weather of the day, like he said, will alternate your recipes as well. So really with bread, you never add the full amount. You go super slow. You can always add more flour, but you can't take away. So go slow. Okay, we sell this incredible French salt. David, we only have 10 minutes left. Talk about the salt. It's the best tasting salt.
For those of you who have watched the Food Nanny and seen Lizi and I harvest this salt in France, they have been harvesting this salt the same way in the same place for 2,000 years. Since the time of Christ, they have been harvesting salt in France the same way. And it's a spiritual experience, isn't it? I'm telling you right now.
It is the most best tasting salt. You can't ever try another salt. I'm not kidding. We have tried every salt there is. And if you're using well, they're not going to probably like the Utah salt, you know, we're going to get in trouble. But we have people in Utah that actually are buying this salt. Anyway, I got to be careful what I say.
Good ingredients make good food, right? Lizi, you know, we have to check each other constantly, right?
No, but it's the best.
I'm telling you, good ingredients make good food.
It's true.
This is the best.
And listen, you've got all the nutrients that you need. Celtic salt is becoming a hot thing right now. And that is Celtic salt. It's every nutrient you need. Okay, so look, this is nice and bubbly and we're ready.
Get it in there.
You can add the yeast on top of the salt. So did you see that I added to it?
Oh, yeah.
It's because if you add yeast directly on top of salt, you're going to kill the yeast. So you got to mix it up. But we sell this flour. We're very passionate. I've been talking about this since I started the Instagram 6.5 years ago. This is an ancient grain. It's never been genetically modified. It's known for taste, texture, digestibility. David, tell them how the gluten, all of it. It's crazy.
When they make this stuff, the farmers that make this and they grow this for us,
it's grown up in Montana.
They literally put a kernel of wheat in the ground and God rains on it or God does not. That is it. There's no pesticides. There's no herbicides. There's no fungicides. This stuff is organic. And when we say organic, we mean it. It's policed by Kamut International. And these farmers, it's very stringent on how they get this stuff grown. And every single year we sit around praying for good weather in northern Montana, because if the weather isn't good, we don't get the crop.
Look, the thing is all of us need to seriously try to get more aware of our food. I go back to Europe. I love America. Hello, I love US. I love America.
We're Americans first.
Yeah, yes. But in Europe, they have very high standards. Things that are illegal are in our food. And
not
so
in this stuff.
not in this, but I'm saying this is why we have the issues that we do. Yeah. And so it's like, we need to get back to the good. And this week, you can't even believe the stories I hear on the daily. Oh. It's literally changing lives. And for us,
I've never been able to eat bread or able to eat this because this is the way God intended it. It has not been genetically altered and it's grown so organically. And you know what? Man was made to eat wheat. And this is the stuff.
You can't have a life without bread. Do not cut out the carbs. I can't stand it. You can eat the bread. You have never felt better eating bread in your entire life. You don't feel like, I just ate a whole block. Okay, listen. Oh no, I just got stuff on my face, David. Okay. So I added 2 more cups of warm water. Remember, is it gone, David?
It's gone.
Okay.
It's gone. You're good.
He's probably lying to me. Okay, and look, I forgot a bowl and I'm laughing my head off. We've got like fine china here at the governor's mansion. But listen, so what you want to do is, did you see how I'm not really measuring? I'm going by feel and by eye.
Because this is as much an art as anything.
So
making bread is an art form. You go and the good ones get their hands in the dough.
That's right. Well, I'm about to. Okay, so this is our Danish dough hook, by the way. We sell these. We have sold over 100,000 of these. They're handmade here in the US. It's like a dough, a wooden spoon and a whisk all in one. It's the best way of making bread.
Well, there's others out
You don't need anything fancy.
There's others out there. We call
them faux hooks. Yeah.
That's the real Danish dough hooks.
Okay, so you want to add enough flour where it starts to come away from the bowl. Can they even see this?
Yeah, we'll get it in there.
Well, can they?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you've added enough flour in there. So then you take it out on the surface. So you need to remember that now you're adding flour when we start kneading.
Like right now, you know, describe that to them because it's got a feel to it.
Well, okay, I mean, it's a little sticky, but not. But look, we want to knead fast. I always see people they've got dough up to their elbows. I don't understand. We can't be afraid of the dough.
No, don't.
And we need to knead super fast.
Get your hands in that dough.
So
all
see,
the artisans get their hands in the dough because that's where the love is.
Okay.
That's what the love is. I've said that before.
So what you want to do is, look, let me show you. This is the way I like to knead, and everybody loves it. You take a corner, you fold over, you push, and you turn. And then you go fast.
And why are you doing this? Why are you kneading the dough?
Well, you got to knead it. You got to get a nice, soft, pliable dough.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay. Oh, no, we're down to 5 minutes. Okay, we're almost done.
Well,
okay, so now, what?
It's good.
Okay,
good.
So then you want to just add enough where it stops sticking from this surface, okay? So it just feels like a nice, soft, pliable dough, but there's different breads. Like you want his pretzels to be a little bit more stiff.
We don't even have time to go buy pretzels. The best Bavarian pretzel you've ever eaten, I can promise.
It is true. And we're going to be selling it down at our store. We have a store that's by the Costco. You need to come in.
The biggest Costco in the world, as I understand it. Right down here at, about 1800 South and 3rd West in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
The biggest one in the world.
Okay, so now you take a dough scraper and we're going to divide into 4.
Oh, yeah.
But like I said, this is doubled. They're baked. I like it
You're
bigger
gonna
now.
get this out of that. Do you grease these up?
No, listen.
Okay,
don't show.
You gotta grease them up.
We're gonna spray them. You gotta spray your pans. We sell these too. We have so many cool things at our store, but we're dealing with local artisans, and it takes some time, right?
One of the things that Lizi is passionate about, and I share that passion, is helping local Utah businesses.
Yes.
They're the ones that make our stuff, whether it's the ceramic bowls that we sell, or whether it's the dough scraper, whether it's the bread pans. This is all made right here in Utah by Utah.
That's what we're so proud of.
Because small businesses are the backbone of this state and the backbone of this country.
It's true.
And we are passionate about those people.
Okay, so did you see how simple? So let me show you again.
Look how
you
simple.
go around, you pinch, pinch, pinch. You just want to make it look nice, okay? I should have added a little bit more flour.
Honestly, Lizi, what about this is
I have been making these since I was 11.
But you've watched it.
And now my daughter and kids make it. This is not hard.
Children can do this.
Well, yeah, I was doing it literally since 11. So then you push out from the middle and you're just making like a long rope, okay?
Look at that.
So we're almost done. So this makes 4. If you don't have baguette pans, you can just put them on your cookie sheet. They just will spread a little bit, but they're still going to taste amazing.
Come get the baguette pans. Do it right. If you're going to do it right.
We only sell this size too. I want things to be unique and like different sizing. I'm a perfectionist in a lot of ways. And so it's like, you can't find this size anywhere. Okay. So see how easy this is? Then this is, okay, so if I wouldn't have been talking, I could have mixed that up in 2 minutes. It's like less than. And then this is the only point where it now will rise. And so this is where you need your kitchen warm.
How are you going to let this rise?
Well, I don't even know if we're putting it in the oven.
No,
but
I'm just saying, how long?
Well, this is what I want to tell you.
You got to cut that up.
I'm going to do it this way. I'm cutting it with I do sourdough too.
Oh, yeah.
So this is my lane.
See, that's pretty. But it's also, what other function does it serve? It's beautiful.
You have to cut the baguette though, because the air needs to escape somewhere. Yeah. So either you can do a straight line or you can do lines like I just did. I don't know. I'm sick of doing the straight line. Yeah. So I'm now doing 4 lines.
Because it's pretty.
Okay.
But when you butter it up also, you're going to get the butter's.
Yeah, it's going to go down. Right? So then we would cover with a dishcloth. and you let it rise. So preheat your oven, get it to 450. If you feel like they're not getting done and crispy, turn up your oven. I've noticed that every oven is very different.
They're all different.
So turn it up really high, but cover with a dish towel, not a heavy one. And then let me tell you the last tip before we end. You know your bread is ready when you poke, and see how the indent is coming back out? When it's ready, the indent stays.
Yep.
Your bread doesn't come back out. So then you know that it's ready for the oven. Bake your bread on the bottom rack. You want to get the bread nice and light brown on the bottom.
You tell bake or convection?
I love convection.
That's right.
But you can do either one, but convection's my
nice
favorite.
if you have it. Not all ovens have convection.
Yes. But this is so easy. And I have a yummy strawberry butter that I give. But anyway, we're like running out of time. You need to make it. You need to make it. You're going to love it. And think about what you're eating every day and what ingredients you're using. If you're using Morton salt, you better throw that away today. That's my little friendly reminder today, because that's not good salt. We need to be eating the natural, yummy good, and it changes. And make sure, sorry.
No, but I'm telling you that
wasn't that mean.
That wasn't bad.
And then have family dinner. Have family dinner. But anyway,
make sure
we love you. We're so grateful for you.
God bless all.
And I'm so excited for who gets to win my cookbooks. I can't wait for you to win.
David and Lizzie, you two are amazing. That was such great information. We're so excited. I know I'm going to try the recipe, and I'm not a cook at all, so it should be fun. Just in closing, we want to remind employees of a few quick items. Number one, this webinar was recorded. It will be posted on the Gateway, like I mentioned earlier. Our next webinar in this series will be on June 26th, and it'll focus on overall work-life wellness. DNR will be hosting this and showcasing one of the great state parks. So it's another one you won't want to miss. We also have created a Gateway page dedicated to this initiative. We will keep that updated with all upcoming communications and events regarding the Employee Work-Life Balance Initiative. And then, of course, last but not least, we need the winners of the cookbooks. So I'll do my best on pronunciation. If I fail to do them correctly, I apologize. The first winner is Kirisha Vargas. Second one is Beth Flint. Third is Amy Green. Fourth is Lindy Higgum. And last but not least is Heather Thomas. We will be in touch with each of you to make arrangements for the book to be mailed to you. And thanks for participating. Again, David and Lizzie, that was just wonderful. We appreciate you and your time today. And thank you everyone for attending, and have a wonderful day.